How y'all doing? Well, for this review, I'm going to do the third book of the Saga of the Great Dead Legion, which is set in the Battletech universe, The Price of Glory. Alright, so what happens? After the events of Mercenary Star, Grayson was able to get more reputation, a better reputation of being a successful mercenary unit, particularly that of able to take on battle mechs and infantry, for planting explosives, stuff like that. So here they are in Solaris 5, a very inhospitable, cold planet, which not very breathable atmosphere. Major cities are done in big dome buildings and such like that, so people don't have to deal with that. And they just made a successful campaign against House Lao. They were hired by House Marik to solve the issues they have with that, and when they did, they were everything was going to plan with the procedure and contracts. So they're now given a new homeland, and Grayson has now been given a good chunk of land in the planet of Helm, and for the service of House Marik. And so everything was going all right. People were kind of noticing odd things about it. According to their contract, it was one member of House Marik, I think Marik. He was supposed to come by and give him a proper send-off, but except it's another guy, Duke of Irian, and he's the one that sends him out. He's the one taking his place. And they didn't think, okay, this is kind of odd, but things are still going as, per that. And so after a time when the whole things were settled against House Lao, Grayson is told, okay, he was ordered to go to that home world of House Marik. And Grayson's like, okay, before we do that, we're going to go to our homeland first. We got our friends and family there. We get our things, take a breather. And when they left, something happens. The dome cities, which had millions of people on it, were destroyed. Some mechs come in, did some havoc, and massive explosions killing millions of people. Grayson is not aware of this, but when he goes to Helm, their cities that they're in charge of and everything are under attack by Marik forces, large Marik forces, and the Great Death Legion are now considered renegades. Now, apparently in the Battletech universe, you have your mech warriors, mercenaries, and you have proper soldiers, but they all follow rules of conduct of war. But there are those like the bandits and renegades, to where whenever you are labeled as that, they do not follow standard procedure. They treat them, less than equal, because these people are considered so bad, and they don't obey the conducts of war, so they don't get treated with any respect. And in fact, they're, it's very much bad news once they're labeled this. And Grayson just now later realizes that in Solaris, the planet where he was fighting and won in House Lao, he is now accused for killing all those millions of people in the domes. So he's been set up for something. And the question is, what? So that's what they're going to find out here in Price of Glory, where he is now, his unit is pretty much in shambles. His 2-drop ships are Deimos and Phobos are being captured. All the members that are, his mechs have taken damage from House Marik forces on just landing on the planet. So now they're on the run, hiding out, trying to get whatever information they can, and finding out what the heck's going on, why are they taking the blame, and why. Why is this all going to happen? And it turns out there's something involving the main villain of this, where a presenter of Comstar. Comstar is kind of this religious organization where it was a high-tech, I don't know full details. Sorry for you mech warrior fans who are a bit more deeper in lore. I'm only reading this from the books. But for interstellar communications, you go through Comstar. And what started off as, the founder of Comstar passed away. What happened was that the adepts of this have become a religious order. So if you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000 or the concept of science fiction, where you have priests and such running machines like it's holy artifacts and stuff like that, that's Comstar. And one of them, Presenter, either through himself or through or underneath Comstar's orders, there's something in Helm under Grayson's land, where he's under his jurisdiction there, somewhere in his land that he's now in charge of. There's something in it that is of major importance. Apparently this is a supply catch from over hundreds of years ago with lots of battle mechs, lots of arms, and something else, and that could change the whole world if Comstar gets a hold of it, or even destroys it. You know, it's very, very precious to them. So I hope I don't give up too much away, because at least hopefully the details of what events happen are enough. So a lot of the main characters are brought in, and a couple of new ones. So you got a lot of people that are just on you got the Great Death Legion on the run. Grayson Carlyle is trying to do what he can to to take care of his people, solve this problem, and hopefully get his mercenary unit back up and running. So this is the third book of the saga of the Great Death Legion, and I was thoroughly happy with it. I was entertained by it for such things as they are. I think it's a good trilogy. If you're into Battletech, you want to see what a mercenary group does, or how it gets started and what it goes through. I think this is nice and well informed of how this could work. Now there are later books. Now there are a couple of them are written by William H. Keith Jr., but there are a couple of them that are written by a couple of guys. Sorry about all that. Not very articulate there. But later novels, we've got Blood of Heroes by Andrew Key, Tactics of Duty by William H. Key Jr., Operation Excalibur by also William H. Key Jr., and The Dying Time by Thomas S. Gressman. And there's also a short story in the Legion Team from the Shrapnel Anthology. I'm reading this on Sarna.net, which is a Wikipedia of all things Battletech. But I don't know if I want to get that far into depth with the other 4 novels and whatever short story that is. But for this trilogy, I think is a very good stopping point for me for any Battletech stories, particularly with the Grey Death Legion, which I found very entertaining. Gives you a good way of introducing you into this universe and how it works. And I have to agree with Razorfist, it's a very good starting point. So I will give details on what all what happens to them and how they get to solve this issue in detail. I think you can criticize me for giving away too much, but when you think about such military science, I don't. If you have to criticize this, it's not offering anything new as far as concepts of what stories are, but it's an execution of what it is. You get to read about the character. If you're interested in the world, you have a few characters, you start knowing about them, how they think and all that. Grayson Carlyle is a very good tactician, needs to think on the spot, and his supporting crew there, Captain Ramage, Lori, and their second man, a few others, some of the mech warriors as well. I can see this as a pretty decent movie, or series of movies like that, or maybe a television series. I think that would have worked better. But yeah, there you go. So the whole entire trilogy, we got Decision of Thunder Rift, Mercenary Star, and this review right here, The Price of Glory. Check these out. And as I said in the previous videos, unfortunately, trying to get physical paperbacks like these is pretty tough to do if you're short on coin, because trying to get these online, you can find them, but they jacked up the prices on ridiculous levels. And I am trying, and it's funny because I went to a used bookstore here in Norman, the only one left, and he came across a similar issue of a guy bringing a book to him. It wasn't any of these, but he brings books to this. Hey, I saw this online for like $1,600. I'll sell it to you for $8. And used bookstores don't necessarily have, especially the small one we got, the only one in town, which is not a very huge one, but still, it's not like they have the money to fork over to do that, because they're not guaranteed to sell. Just other places are just jacking up the dang prices. So, because a few things like, oh, it's rare. And I think when I first got Decision of Thunder Rift at the used bookstore up in Oklahoma City, I think he just saw the lowest price over on the website and he based it off that. Because every other used paperback in the fantasy science fiction is, roughly a cover price, if not less. And it wasn't just Battletech. Most of the Battletech stuff that I've seen in used bookstores are at regular price, except this trilogy, for some reason, because this Decision of Thunder Rift is like the first one, so it's kind of like the price bubble back in comics. If it's like the first edition or things like that, it's going to be worth more, so you got to jack it up because people will buy it because it's that good. Not necessarily. not for a trilogy like this. As I say, unless it's like the first edition of Dracula ever printed, or Don Quixote, or a very old classic novel. These are just simple paperbacks that shouldn't be priced up like this. But as I stated before in the last couple videos of this series, the Catalyst Game Labs has a digital downloads. I know not everyone's into digital. I'm not. I went ahead and dropped the Scintilla. Dropped a coin just to get these. Then 2 of them are online. So yeah, at least I got them for a limited price. But $25 is too much for each paperback, I gotta tell you. But okay, I'm almost digressing as I did before. But yeah, check this trilogy out. Go to Catalyst Game Labs. If you're in digital copies, you can get all 3 books. In the digital copies at not even $10. It's not probably not even 5 really. So there you go. So check them out. Hopefully, if you're new to Battletech, you're interested in reading the books, that's a good trilogy. The Grey Death Legion, you can expand further outward. I did with Ideal War, which is also recommended by Rageaholic, which is a good parallel of Vietnam. So, because a lot of things about Battletech, like the Secession Wars, that's World War I and II, and the Ideal War, that's a good parallel of Vietnam and everything. And you can expand on that, and hey, I hope you have a good read. Thank you all for watching. You have a nice day.